Welcome to this video about streaming roller derby. In this video I will show you a little bit how to configure your software if you want to stream roller derby or for whatever else you want to stream for that matter. This video will not talk a lot about hardware part of streaming, but will concentrate on the software parts. When you want to stream roller derby, you need to choose a software. There are many available softwares. A lot of them are free. For instance, one good is Open Broadcaster software. It's open source and free to use, and has a lot of nice features, so highly recommended. I use another system called Xsplit Broadcaster. There is a free version of this software, but mostly it costs to use. I like to use it because it has a little bit better hardware support. If we look at this window, there are three main parts. You have the upper menus, where you can choose your broadcasting resolutions or frame rate. You have the middle window, which show you what you are streaming right now. Or now, since we're not streaming yet, it's just a preview window. And then you have the bottom part, where you have the scene, which you are playing at the moment, your audio mixer, and the scene sources, where you have all the elements that are in that particular scene. We can start with adding a source. We can do it to the first scene, which can be just, plain video. We do that by pressing the button Add, and then we have to choose our source. I have a camera connected to a capture card, which converts the HDMI from the camera to USB signal. So we just choose capture card, and we have the AverMedia C835 capture. It's the LGP Lite. And then you get the camera up there. You can see that. I put my fingers in front of the camera. Works just fine. Of course, the view is not very interesting because it's on my desktop. And now you could actually have started streaming right now. You have the basics. You have your video into your computer. You only have to choose where you want to broadcast to, for instance, YouTube. Or you can add any of these or a lot more services. And quite simple. You register. You choose your codec. Choose your bitrate, audio bitrate, and then you're good to go. But for most streamers, they want to have a little bit extra. They want something more on their streams. Most important is perhaps the scoreboard. Here I have downloaded to my computer the Carolina Roller Girls scoreboard. I can just start it up. You can see how it works. It's quite a neat system. And to get the user interface, you just start the start.html file. And here you have it, and you can push here to see all the configuration and so on that they use for almost any match. For overlay for the projector. What we want is the overlays. Here you have a lot of different overlays. You have to decide yourself what type you like. I like the standard video feed. Here you can see the background is green. You can color correct that color out so that the green is blank or transparent color. I found that the easiest way is to do a small modification in the software. So I just close the browser and close the scoreboard system. Now the scoreboard system is offline. Then I go into the HTML file folder, views subfolder, and then I find the overlay that I want, which is this one, overlay 16x9 CSS. Open this file, Now I have no updates. Notepad++ will analyze your code and give you different colors and so on. So it's very simple to understand. What I do here is just I remove this line where it tells you what color you want to have for the background. So this is the place where it tells you that the background should be green. You can just remove that whole line, save the file, and then start the program back up again. Now it's started. And we can just have a little bit of look. Overlays. And 16:9. Now you see the green color is gone. What I want to do now is that I want to copy this line. Because this is my local computer, I run both the streaming software and the scoreboard. I can just copy this. Normally you would need the IP address. That would be this address right here. So you have your local network address and the port. You would need to have that. But for this, I can use just localhost address. Add other web page URI. Type in the address, which in this case is localhost. Don't need this part here. Localhost, or you could change out localhost with the IP address of your computer in your local network, which has the scoreboard system. Press OK, and there we have it. Just make it a little bit bigger. Bam! Now you have the scoreboard on your stream. And if I now go into the software and just add some points, we can see that it works. Main operator control panel. Just log in. Just give some score points. Here you see everything works just fine. You can start a jam and it will look just fine on your stream. So now this is no longer playing video. So now we can choose another scene, for instance scene 2. So we can actually rename this so it's game. This is the most important one. Scene 2 could be, for instance, we just want plain video. We can choose the capture card again. Now we can change between with the overlay or without. One thing that is important is the list down here, the source list, is that it tells you what is on top. So this is on top of this. So if you change it, then you will no longer see this because the bottom layer. So you see it is there, but it's not visible because this capture card video feed is not transparent. So you have to be careful about having your sources in the right direction. Well, have the list correctly made. Scene 2, that would be just plain. So, then you maybe want another scene. For instance, when you have the skate out. Then you want to show the team. So again, capture card. And then you add, for instance, a picture which you made. Here I have just an example file, which is a transparent PNG file. If you have anyone who is comfortable with graphics at your club, they can probably fix you up with something like this. And again, this is an overlay, so you can do actions, have the players skate out, and then you can have the overlay showing which players are on the team. And then you can switch back and have the overlay for the match. How to put in, for instance, if you want something if someone is hurt. Then you maybe you want to have the camera on, but you don't want it to show the things happening on the field. You don't want it to be, you don't want to broadcast a player that's down. What you can do is that you can add, make a picture, for instance, like this, where I've made just a non-transparent picture of just we have stopped filming as there might be an injured player on the track, and then you can see already you can only see a little bit on the top and on the bottom. That way the watcher will see that, okay, the stream isn't down or anything, things are actually working. You can also decide here if it's going to be a little bit transparent. The overlay, for instance, 200. Now you see there's a little bit of transparency so that it's possible to see that something is happening, but it's not possible to see what is happening. I have now shown you 4 different scenes that you can make easily on your stream. I want to show you 2 more things that is important. And the first one is very important, is how to control the audio of your stream. The video is very simple. What you broadcast is what you see right here in the preview window. But what audio you're actually sending out on the stream can be hard to figure out. I would therefore recommend everyone that streams to listen in to their own stream from a cell phone or from another computer to make sure that the sound is good, that the audio is right, that you have no problems with that. If you see here, you have 2 different buttons here that are quite important. It's the microphone mute button, and you have the speaker computer sound button. When I stream, I use this kind of setup. I have a microphone connected to a mixer, and I take the sound from my camera and also put it into the mixer, audio mixer. This is a hardware mixer that I have. Then I take the audio from the mixer and put it into my capture card, and the video just goes directly by HDMI. That way I don't use the microphone on the computer or any inputs on the computer for audio. Everything goes through my mixer. That way, in my setup, I will always mute out these 2. And I will go in, if you go to plain video, for instance, you choose your source. Then you have your settings for audio. You choose the input, it's built in. And the output, you want it to only be sent to the stream. You don't want your speakers on your computers to start yelling out anything. And you have to do this configuration for all your video. All the parts where you want to have sound, you have to have this capture device. And you have to have it on stream only. And remember, these buttons here will, if you restart your program, the buttons will often be unmarked again, and then you might get a double sound, or you might get the sound from your microphone on your laptop out on the stream, things you don't want. So check these and check that what's on the stream actually is what you want there. So I would recommend doing some testing on broadcasting before you do the actual streaming of a live event. Lastly, I want to show you how to set up a timer. This might be if you want to have a countdown, for instance, for when you have halftime. Or it might be if you, for instance, want to have a countdown until the event starts. I normally start streaming around 20 minutes before the event actually starts. I do this because I want to be able to send the links out early and to just check that everything's okay. So having a countdown timer is very nice. What I have here is just another scene. I will add a picture. Take halftime. Yeah, we can make it a little bit bigger. Yeah. And then I have a small program that I've downloaded. This is free, called Snaptimer. I will just run it. See here. run Snaptimer. There you have a small timer that you can use. And you can edit it. For instance, I have a black background. Then just choose the background so that it fits. And the color, white. And your font. I'm a sucker for Times New Roman. But there, of course, there is quite a lot of other that is quite a lot nicer. So, like that. Now I have my timer ready. And then I can add it. And here comes the gaming part of Xsplit very nicely in. The screen capture. Then you decide what area of the screen you want to capture. Just mark it out like that. And it will remember which program it is. So if you move it around, it'll still be there. And see here, there it is. You can make it a little bit smaller so it isn't so obviously low resolution like that. And now you see only when your mouse is over this area you can see the mouse. This you can change by show mouse. Remove the show mouse under the screen menu. Now even when your mouse is over you can see it, and you can start here and have the countdown on your stream. And of course you can use the same countdown for like countdown until the start of stream and so on. So that's a very nice feature, and of course you can move it around. It's not a problem. When you have a scene now without the video feed, if you use this kind of setup like I do, you will not have any sound out on your stream, because the sound is only present when you have the Avermedia capture card as a source. It's only then that it's hear audio from that device. So when we go to halftime, it will, like, there's no camera here, of course. There's only a picture in the background and the countdown clock. And that's just important to keep in mind, that the sound will actually be gone on the halftime. But I find that quite pleasant, actually. Have a 10-minute break. You're now ready to start broadcasting. You check that your resolution and frame rate is still correct. Then you go to broadcast. Here you can add channels. I have already added the ones that is most relevant for me. For instance, YouTube. You can go into it and you can change settings. For instance, title, description, what category it is, what privacy settings you want. And most importantly, the video encoding, what bitrate you want. This you have to calculate. It depends on how many frames per second you have, what resolution you have, and so on. So you have to calculate this. YouTube has a limit for streaming 720p at 4 megabits, so 4,000 kilobyte per second. So that's why I have it at 3,400. You just press OK, go to the broadcast, and just push on the middle, and then it'll give you a new window. Do you want to start broadcasting? Yeah. Just going to be a short one, just for testing purposes. And you can say that, okay, you can allow embedding. People can go back when they see the stream. They can look earlier in the stream, and you make a recording of it. So just press start broadcasting. Now you get the red line up on top. You get the bitrate, and you get the frames that is encoded, and you get dropped frames. This is important if your computer is not strong enough to actually encode the video, or if you have a bad internet connection, you will get dropped frames. And if you have a lot of those, then your viewers will have a bad day. So 0 dropped frames should be everyone's goal. Now you can go to your browser. You can go into Creator Studio and Video Manager, Live Events. There you have your stream. And as you can see, the clock here is a little bit later than the one here. That's because it takes about 20 seconds for the data to go from your streaming software up to YouTube and back again to your browser, or anyone's browser, your audience. Now you can share your link on Facebook, or you can embed it on your homepage, or well, whatever you want to share and make this stream available to people. And it's quite nice. And if I now, for instance, a small error there. If I now, for instance, ask for skate out, go back here, let's have a look. Then it should take just 10-15 seconds, and then you will have the new frame. There you come. There you have the small error that happened. And there you got it. So that's all for this quite long video, actually. If you have any questions or suggestions about content you want me to make about streaming roller derby, just put in a comment. And thank you for watching this video.